Hello, I'm Greg Harradine. In this video, I'm going to discuss how I composed Arcadian Air, the eighth and last of my Caledonian portraits, and how it was inspired by the work of the artist Tom Davidson, in particular his lino-cut Dapple Road. Before you watch any further, please do take just a second and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Tom Davidson has had a gallery in Earlston since 1995, and when my wife and I moved here in 2020, we pretty soon visited his gallery and bought one of his lino-cuts, Dapple Road. It is hung in our hallway, and it shows a quiet bucolic scene of a back road running through a place called Boone, which is just a few miles north of us here in Earlston, to the east of the A68. It is such a quiet, calming scene that I felt obliged to call my piece Arcadian Air. Arcadia, as you may know, is the name of an area in Greece, and it was considered in ancient times to be a sort of rural paradise on earth, a place where none of the problems of the world could enter. Tom's process of creating his lino cuts involves cutting away a layer of lino and then printing one layer at a time to build up 5 or 6 different layers of colour. I decided to mirror this approach almost exactly with Arcadian Air. First, I wrote an unaccompanied melodic theme, which perhaps brings to mind an old folk tune. This theme is then repeated, but with a second voice added, a second layer of colour, if you will. And then a third layer of harmony is added, and a fourth, and eventually a fifth. You'll have to listen to the full piece in order to hear those sections. It's only in the fifth layer that I veer from this ironclad rule a bit, and I bring things back to just 2 layers, just for a bit of variety. So this is sort of a theme and variations, except the theme doesn't vary at all. It's only the harmony that varies. The colour underneath the melody. I also decided to use just 6 different notes in the entire piece, because Tom limits himself often to just 5 or 6 colours in his lino cuts. My piece is in the key of A major, and I decided to use the first 6 notes of that scale, omitting the vital 7th note, a note which is very hard to avoid when harmonising a melody, because of course it's an integral part of the dominant chord number 5. So an E major chord in this key of A major. The last excerpt I'll share with you is the final 8 bars or so of my piece, in which I promise you will not hear the 7th note of the scale in A major. You will not hear any G sharps. hope this video has provided a small insight into Tom's work and also into how I composed my piece based on Dapple Road. If you're a pianist yourself, you might be interested in getting the sheet music of this composition, Arcadian Air, and if you fancy having a go, then check out the video description for a link to where you can purchase the sheet music. To find out more about Tom's work, you can visit his website, tomdavidson.co.uk. Please do subscribe to my YouTube channel, and if you like what I'm doing, the best thing you could do is to become a supporter on Patreon. My patrons receive a range of rewards, including the sheet music and audio recordings of all my new compositions, that's usually one a month, and the chance to vote on aspects of my future compositions, and much more besides. If you go to patreon.com/Greg Harradine, you can find out all about it, and I would love to welcome you as a supporter of mine on Patreon. I would finally like to thank Creative Scotland and my Patreon supporters for funding my Caledonian Portraits project. Thank you. Until next time, goodbye.